Welcome, friend, to Life and Liberty Radio. I'm David Householder, here to encourage your pursuit of happiness. You and I are partners, exploring our shared spiritual journeys. Together, we're dreaming and working for a free society. Tell others today about our adventure in faith and freedom. So breathe in, open your mind, lift up your spirit. Let's get started. This is the first in a series of the basics of libertarianism, as statism has grown under the last few presidents, especially the Obama administration, and I don't call it progressivism, I call it statism, where the government decides things for us by coercion. And as that has progressed, there has been a reaction to it, an intellectual reaction and a political reaction, and that reaction has been the development of a sophisticated form of libertarianism. Now, libertarianism is nothing new. The founding fathers were libertarians. They called themselves liberals, but that word liberal has been co-opted by statists who are nothing of the kind. They're not liberal at all. So I have been inspired by a short article by David Boaz of the Cato Institute. That's B-O-A-Z. And David has written some real basics here on libertarianism. And he was inspired, as I am, by Robert Fulghum's bestseller, All I Really Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. I think the very essence of libertarianism is don't hit other people, don't take their stuff, mind your own business, and keep your promises. Now, those basic rules that we learned in kindergarten are really the core of human social behavior. And if we start to teach those things, which were taught, for instance, in the Ten Commandments, pretty much the Ten Commandments summed up is what you learn in kindergarten, whether or not you're going to a Christian or a Jewish or a Muslim school, it really doesn't matter. You're taught that principle. Don't hit other people. Don't take their stuff. Keep your promises. Mind your own business. All good stuff. Good advice when you're 5, good advice when you're 55. And the truth is we've lost track of those things, and it happens slowly. We hardly even notice that it's going on. We start with a little bit of regulation, which leads to a little bit more, and next thing you know, we have lost the sense that we are a free society. And David Boaz mentions also something he read in a high school libertarian newsletter some 20 years ago. And here it is. Smokey the Bear's rules for fire safety also apply to government. To government. Keep it small. Keep it in a confined area, and keep an eye on it. I think that that's so very true. But the truth is our election cycle, which has turned into a circus, has turned into a sort of sales event where people try to sell us things they're going to do for us rather than we do them for ourselves. And, of course, they can't afford to do all these things for us, hence the $16 trillion debt. So we continue to get hoodwinked by people who sell us something that they can't give us. And it goes on and on and on. And the more expensive elections get, the more they promise to give us. And this has been happening now for just about 100 years, since the time of Wilson. And it has coincided with the whole idea of mass media and being able to get on TV and tell everybody what you're going to give us.
My name is Ruben J., and you're listening to Life and Liberty Radio with David Householder. I am the host and producer of the hit internet radio show On Air with Ruben J. You can catch my show live on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. only on RubenJ.com. On Air with Ruben J. brings you entertainment headlines the way it's supposed to be brought by me. On Tuesdays, I bring you Top 10 Twitter Tuesdays, where I play some of the most talked about songs on Twitter of the week. And on Thursdays is where I bring to you live interviews and live performances from some of today's up-and-coming artists. So for entertainment headlines and more, tune into On Air with Ruben J, only on RubenJ.com. You can find us on Twitter at TheRubenJ and on Facebook.com/TheRubenJ. And I'll see you on Tuesday or Thursday.
Another thing David Boaz mentions is the simple non-aggression axiom. Now, that sounds complicated, but basically it's this. No one has the right to initiate aggression against the person or property of anyone else. Now, this goes back to Spencer, Mill, Locke, and Epicurus, but really the whole idea is that you can use aggression, you can use force, but only to protect yourself and your property. You never initiate aggression against someone else. That would include preemptive strikes. That would include hitting a country that might be a threat to you, because where does that end? You end up initiating aggression all over the place. You only punish people who've actually committed crimes, not people who might commit crimes. You don't do that through regulation. And you don't do a preemptive strike against another nation, against Iraq, against Iran, or if you're Japanese, against Pearl Harbor. It doesn't end well for you. It's important, it's so important, not to initiate aggression against the person or property of anyone else.
Well, that's all for today on Life and Liberty Radio. Thanks so much for sharing this part of your spiritual journey with me. Now, the views on this program are not necessarily those of my advertisers, sponsors, places I work or do business with. They're purely my own, but I'm sharing them with you, so share your ideas with me. Write me on Twitter at Liberty House, LIBERTYHOUS, no E. Until next time, let's continue dreaming and working for a free and spiritually grounded society.